Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Karen Cozier-Phillip. C News is live at noon. In the headlines, autopsies expected to resume today at the Forensic Science Center.
Good afternoon, I'm Rishi Harinanan, and in sport, Brazil wins Olympic opener.
Autopsies on bodies at the Forensic Science Center should resume later today, as forensic pathologist Dr. Valery Alexandrov says he has gotten the assurance that his request will be granted by October 1st. Over the last 2 days, Dr. Alexandrov did no autopsies, as he claimed he's being overworked since he has 2 OJT assistants and has done over 200 autopsies for the year so far. This morning he spoke with C News and said he's happy with the news.
And there was discussion, the emergency meeting yesterday in the ministry, and then I got a call informing that they agreed and they will start the recruiting process right away because it takes some time.
Dr. Alexandrov is in Tobago conducting autopsies there. He explained that he knows the process of recruiting staff will take some time, but he's gotten a commitment from the Ministry of National Security, and that's good enough for now.
You know, interviewing people, some paperwork, plus seeing these people going to be working in forensic institutions, they have to go through clearance. You know, criminal clearance. I understand that it's going to take time, but at least I got an assurance that eventually they are going to do it. So we can survive. Maybe it takes months.
The president of the UWI Guild says some decisions on the GATE program are acceptable, but others need to be revisited. Mr. Peters said he's concerned that as of August 2016, government won't fund people over the age of 50 years.
So there should be a bit more consultation, a bit more dialogue, a bit more understanding on the cabinet we have, you know, to support this group. Especially if people within this group are actually aiding towards the developmental or the strategic objectives of our country. So we have to also recognize that people in this area are also very much experienced in their jobs.
According to the recommendations from August 2017, postgraduate funding will be available to students whose programs are in alignment with the country's developmental needs. Mackenzie Peters told GMTT he is happy with this decision.
I was very happy when I heard the minister said that, you know, postgraduate students would also be allowed to continue within the system. A bit saddened that new students over the age of 50 will not be getting that treatment, but yet still we're happy that those within the system are allowed to continue as well.
And GATE will no longer be free for everyone. From next year, some students will be required to pay 25% of their tuition fees.
Effective August 2017, students whose household income falls below $10,000 per month will be eligible for 100% funding. This will be determined by means testing. Where the household income is above $10,000, students will be required to pay 25% of their tuition fees. Where the household income is above $20,000 per month, students will be required to pay 50% of their tuition fees.
However, the minister didn't divulge how the mean tests will be carried out. A decision was also taken to discontinue the funding of new students in the medical program at St. George's University in Grenada. Minister Garcia said the cost is much higher than the cost of funding at any other institution. And Princestown MP Barry Padarat warns of student dropout at tertiary education facilities across the country. This as he criticized the move by government to make changes to the GATE program. Padarat said that the announcement made by the government will see 2 things happening in the tertiary education sector. First, he expects that there will be a high dropout rate among young students, since many of them and their families depend on GATE for full tuition. Secondly, he said with the sweeping changes, several private academic institutions will face possible closure, since many of them target persons who are employed. He lamented that many young people would be forced to curtail their ambitions, since the new restrictions in place do not take into consideration other expenses incurred by students in the tertiary education sector, such as accommodation, books, transportation, and homes with multiple persons pursuing tertiary education. To other news, a call is being made for religious leaders across the country to take an active stand against gun violence. This as crime continues to rise. At the launch of the TNT Faith Leaders United to Stem Gun Violence at the Brian Lara Promenade, one pastor said faith-based organizations need to work together to bring a spiritual healing to the land.
I believe that the answer, my friend, when you put down your gun, a lot of people, when they put down their gun, even if they want to, they don't know what to take up. They don't know what to pick up. And we send a signal today that the answer is when you put down that gun, my friend, take up a Bible. The word of God will be a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. Begin to hide that thing in your heart that you might not sin against Almighty God.
And this man who was previously incarcerated told the congregation gathered that the young people of this country need guidance.
Young people today, because of the set of distractions and the different things that are leading them astray, now many youths has turned to the guns because they feel that the gun has power, that they can get recognized.
So a bit of crime news now. Police are investigating the murder of Earl Douglas. Reports say just after midnight, the victim was at his bar in Cocorite when a man walked in and shot him. We are told no items were taken from the bar. And 2 burned bodies have been discovered in a car in Forest Reserve in Faizabad. According to reports, police received an anonymous call that a pickup truck was on fire at number 42 Road, Forest Reserve Road at around 7 p.m. The bodies were burnt beyond recognition. Police are seeking the public's assistance in identifying the bodies. The University of Trinidad and Tobago has launched an investigation into the assault of a security guard. A video of the assault was posted on social media. CNews understands an investigation is underway into the incident, which took place at the John Donaldson campus on Ryson Road. The guard is attached to Amalgamated Security Limited. The video shows a man scrambling with the guard outside, then following him inside the lobby, where he overturned the desk and knocked the guard out. It's unclear when the incident took place. Now here's a look at what's taking place in the region.
Hurricane Earl made landfall in Belize City on Thursday with maximum sustained winds of 80 miles per hour. The Hurricane Center in Miami said the Category 1 storm continues to pound the area with strong winds, heavy rain and storm surge after spreading drenching rain over the Central American country on Wednesday night. After it made landfall near Belize City, the storm is forecast to move over the southern peninsula or northern Guatemala on Thursday, but the storm is expected to diminish in strength as it moves over land deprived of the moisture of the Caribbean. The country's National Meteorological Service says there has been widespread power outages in the country. A hurricane warning is in place for Puerto Costa Maya, Mexico to the South Belize-Guatemala border. A tropical storm warning was in effect north of Puerto Costa Maya to Punta Allen. Brazil has objected to Venezuela taking over the rotating presidency of Mercosur, South America's customs union. On Monday, Brazil's Foreign Minister José Serra sent a letter to Mercosur members criticizing Uruguay's decision to hand over the bloc's leadership to Venezuela, adding that Brazil considers the Mercosur presidency to be vacant. Mercosur's presidency rotates alphabetically for 6 months starting on August 1st. However, Sierra said last month that Venezuela has yet to fulfill full membership requirements, including lowering trade barriers and improving civil rights and basic democratic principles. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has issued a Zika virus travel notice for Antigua and Barbuda and the Turks and Caicos Islands. Because Zika virus is primarily spread by mosquitoes, CDC recommends that travelers to Antigua and Barbuda and the TCI protect themselves from mosquito bites. There is no vaccine or medicine for the Zika virus.
And now we have sport with Rishi Harinan. And Rishi, tell us what's taking place in the world of sport.
Well, Karen, it's Olympic action and The Rio 2016 Olympic Games began on Wednesday with a women's football match played in front of a sparse Olympic Stadium crowd. Sweden won 1-0 against South Africa in the opener before host nation Brazil beat China 3-0. Plenty of empty seats could have been seen in the 60,000 venue at kickoff, although more fans arrived before Brazil's game. The football tournament has started 2 days before Friday's opening ceremony because of a packed schedule. More than 11,000 athletes will compete in the first edition of the Olympic Games to be held in South America. There are 42 Olympic sport disciplines with 306 events over the course of 19 days of competition. This is the C News Live Noon Update. Remember, you can follow us at C News Live on Facebook and Twitter, or log on to our website at ctvtt.com. Guyana Amazon Warriors have qualified for the finals of the 2016 CPL after beating the Jamaica Tallawahs in the first playoff match last night in St. Kitts. The Warriors won the toss and sent the Tallawahs into bat, then limited them to 146 for 8 with 33 from Chris Gale being the top score, while Sangakkara chipped in with 20 and Powell 23. But Chris Lynn led the Warriors' reply with a steady 49, which set up the late heroics from Tanvir, who won it with 6 with 2 balls left. The Tallawahs will now await the winner of tonight's match, that's between Champs Trinbago Knight Riders and St. Lucia Zouks, for a second chance at reaching Sunday's final. Also, that game will be taking place in St. Kitts. It could be described as a move with the youth in mind, but skateboarding, surfing and climbing are among 5 new sports confirmed for the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. Karate and baseball or softball have also been added by the International Olympic Committee, but were already Olympic events previously. The 5 extra sports, which do not replace any of the 28 already on the Tokyo schedule, will include 18 events and involve hundreds of athletes. The 5 sports were all recommended by Tokyo organizers in July and unanimously backed by the executive board of the IOC, which described them as a dynamic and exciting package, which they hope will attract new audiences. World heavyweight champion Tyson Fury has been charged with a doping offense by UK's anti-doping body. UKAD revealed it suspended Fury on June 24th, but Fury appealed and the suspension has now been lifted until a hearing in front of the National Anti-Doping Panel at a date yet to be set. The 27-year-old says he will sue UKAD over its claims he used a banned drug. And that was a brief look at what's taking place in sport. Karen, have you used the Pokemon Go app yet?
No, Rishi, I know nothing about Pokemon. Tell me more.
Well, actually, the Pokemon app is finally in Trinidad. It came about 5 o'clock yesterday, causing a blaze of activity as users started activating and playing the game. The game is now reportedly live on iPhone and for Android users.
Well, to tell you a little bit more, Pokemon Go is a smartphone app that uses Google Maps to overlay reality with Pokemon creatures and was developed by Niantic, a Google spin-off that Nintendo invested in last year.
Some exciting times here for Trinidadians.
I'll bet. Well, we now take a look at the weather. For the period this afternoon and tonight, hot and sunny conditions over most areas with a few showers during the early to mid-afternoon, mostly over southern and western areas of Trinidad. 1 or 2 of these showers will be heavy and thundery. Conditions will become settled by late afternoon to give a clear night. You're watching C News Live at noon. In some world news, chaotic scenes marred the arrival of the Olympic torch in Rio de Janeiro on Wednesday. Hundreds of demonstrators, angry at the high cost of hosting the games, protested and riot police used tear gas and pepper spray to disperse the crowd. We have more in this report.
These people are not only protesting against the Olympics, they're protesting against the system, protesting against the state, especially in Caxias yesterday when you saw the scenes of the rubber bullets and everything else. Those were teachers protesting against unpaid wages. And obviously, it's very easy to get visibility by targeting the torch. So it's difficult. It was supposed to be a massive atmosphere of partying, of celebrations, and instead we see this kind of division. However, the issue of the Olympics being a party might be solved from the opening ceremony onwards. I think we're going to see a change in atmosphere. I'm not saying that the protests are going to go away, and they should not go away. It's a democratic society after all. But it's interesting to see that the build-up might change a lot in the next few days.
C News, powered by our team of journalists and producers across the Republic and the region on television, radio, and online.
C News, your country,
our job.
And it's time to go catch some Pokemon, guys.
Not me.
I want a Squirtle.
I'll leave that for my children.
I want a Squirtle. I think I'm young enough to play Pokemon.